The only way we get to the pluralistic democracy, the multiracial, multi-ethnic democracy where people can raise their families and take care of their communities and imagine more for their lives, is if we actually talk to the people who have to live it.
I believe that leadership requires you to be a good listener. And how can you represent someone that you don't know? So in order to represent our constituents, we have to have a relationship with those constituents.
If my patients aren't making the money that they need to make, they're not coming to the office. They're having to make the hard decisions every day about what they're going to do and how they're going to do it, and will forego their health to do it.
Working people can't pay their rent now, or they're moving because their rent, there's no guidelines, not even stabilization in this state, and rents have skyrocketed.
I guess I'll be here to represent the gig workers. So basically, our boss is AI. So like, anything goes wrong, we can get deactivated, right? Then we have no job protections whatsoever.
We talk about the cost of living. We don't talk a lot about the reason for living. What are we trying to do? What do we want for our families? What is it that you want for yourself, for your neighbors, for the folks who didn't know they should be in this room?
I'll tell you what I want. I want one job. I want to be able to afford to live and not survive, live. Right. I want to take a vacation. I want everyone around me to be able to take a vacation.
What we're facing now is people are not making enough money, so they can't parent. So these kids are raising themselves. And we as a community have failed because we don't support our neighbors that we know have to work 3 jobs.
What do you need the people in this room who can do something? What do we want folks to do? What are some of the solutions?
I was here in Georgia as a lobbyist when the minimum wage in Georgia was like $3 an hour, right? And we caught hell raising it to $5.15.
Yeah.
Okay? The federal is $7.25. That is ridiculous. And we're allegedly the richest nation that has ever occupied this planet. Come on now, let's get real.
Looking at the feasibility of a vacancy tax, because there are a ton of open houses and a lot of them sit empty at asking for high rates that people just can't pay. And landlords would rather hold out because people get desperate enough to put 60%, 70%, 80% of their income into rent.
We need our own banks. We need our own local credit union. We need to go back to that.
In the rural communities, we need more presence to let the people know that we are concerned. When you lock them out and they feel like they don't matter, they're not going to vote. Amen. Because they only see us during election time.
I want to thank you all for taking the time to come and to share with us today, because it's so important. Just as the young lady who gave the last word, representation is about relationships. It's about relationships. Our North Star is that we are fighters for working families. That is what we are about, and that is what we do, and that's what we're going to continue to do. So thank you for being here, and let the relationship continue.
Thank you.
Is there anything that you would say to policymakers around the country who maybe should be considering doing something like this with constituents of their own?
When people hear their stories told, they believe. When they can tell their own stories, they act. And so part of our responsibility is to create spaces not only for the stories to be told and heard, but for people to believe that they are the narrators of the next chapter.